Hey everybody, it's John Halpin. That's Josh Katzowitz. Welcome to the Thursday Week 10 edition of Pickwatch Live. So last week we did it Friday morning. Now we're doing Thursday night. If you're not watching live, we're doing it at 8 o'clock Eastern. I've got the Panthers-Steelers game off to my right. We'll probably, flow into the start of it so we can watch Troy Aikman's plaid blue jacket. I don't have to get one. I was going to say I have to get one, but I really don't.
I was telling you, John, that's how you look at 1978, Hubie Brown or something like that, the loud jackets he wore.
Hubie Brown. That's a good pull. Right?
I don't even know if that's the right era, but you know what I'm talking. That's or PJ or Raleigh Massimino or something like that in Villanova, those loud jackets.
Right.
That's what we're in 20 years and be like, oh my God, whoever wore something like that.
Yeah. Troy's rocking a pretty colorful blazer. So, and anyway, now that we're going to, right now, by the way, folks, it is, like I said, we're recording this a little after 8 o'clock. You stream live on Facebook, which you might be watching. If you are not, that's okay. We won't hold it against you. But you might be watching it later on YouTube or something like that. If you're not subscribing on YouTube, do so. If you're not liking us on Facebook, please do that. And we're going to get going. Let's start talking about Panthers-Steelers. So this game here, Ryan and I went over it the other day, but Panthers getting 3.5. It started about 5.5. Now it's 3.5. The Steelers are favored. Over under 51. Panthers kind of a trendy underdog today.
Yeah, what I've come to realize, I think, when it comes to Carolina is that they're maybe one of the top 4 teams in the NFC. And they've quietly have gotten there because of the Rams and the Saints and how good those two teams are. Everybody's talking about the Packers maybe not being quite as good as normal, but out of the Panthers have kind of snuck in there a little bit. They're 6-2. Cam's playing well. They're on a 3-game winning streak. They've beaten some good teams this year. They're a pretty good team. Apparently, they're going to really have a good shot at getting that wild. Maybe they're still in the division race too, but they're going to have a really good shot at getting that wild card and making some noise. So, I can see why they're kind of being picked pretty heavily here.
Yeah, they're pretty interesting. I got to tell you, a couple of weeks ago, when they were down 17-0 late third quarter, the Eagles, I was looking at them going, wow, I was wrong about them. I thought they were going to win 10. They might not win 8. This is bad. And since then, they've been one of the best teams in the NFL. Since that,
yeah, I think I wrote the next week in the column was that may have started something special because I think Cam threw for over 200 yards in that fourth quarter and they scored 21 points and they come back and win and you say stuff like that, you're like, well, it could be the start of something great or it could be just an anomaly and they'll go back to kind of sucking the next week, but it kind of seems like it started something.
Yeah, it sure does seem like it started something. Who you got tonight? Take it. We got it early in the week at 4. Right now it's 3.5. Who you got?
God, I don't even remember. Let me look it up real quick. So I have Pittsburgh straight up, Pittsburgh -4. So I guess I really don't believe that Carolina. Well, it's a tough game. Like always on Thursday nights, the road team is always going to struggle on Thursday night games. So that's pretty much the basis for it, I think.
Right. I agree with you. I'm taking
the Steelers are good. The Steelers are good, right? They're pretty good. So.
Yep, they are. And their defense has been playing better lately, too. They started a little slow. They've been getting better. Might be a little homer pick for me, but I'm going to go with the Panthers. I like the way they're playing. All right, so overall for the season, before we get to the rest of the games, Ryan's 7th place against the spread. You and I are tied for 24th, so we got to step it up this week, okay? But we're going to see – I have the picks. You and I have differing opinions on a lot of the games, a lot. We're going to be – I don't know about arguing, but, we're going to notice at the end that we're going to have some differences of opinion. New things to watch on Pickwatch. You can track team performances. You can look at Josh's profile and say, hey, who has he picked the best? You know what? We're going to do it right now. We're going to do it right now and see who Josh has been the best with at least this year, maybe more. All right, so there is lifetime, okay? There's Josh's – actually, I need to do a screen share, Josh. Sorry, I forgot about that part. There's a screen share. All right. So, Josh, 51% lifetime. We're a little under 500 this year. We talked about that. Josh's best teams have been the Chargers, Saints, Raiders, Cowboys. Those are the teams he's done the best picking. The worst, Bengals, Jets, Dolphins, Steelers. See? The Steelers are one of his worst teams. That means he's going to be wrong tonight, and the Panthers are going to win or at least cover. So
that's hilarious with the Chargers, man. I never feel good about that pick, never. So that's really interesting that's my best team.
Yep. I thought it was kind of interesting too. It's funny. I was looking at that the other day going, why did I pick those guys? All right. If you have questions, get us on Twitter. He is at Josh Katzowitz. I'm at Halpin37. Our main account is at Pickwatch. So you can check it out there. Other stuff on Pickwatch, like I showed you that stuff. That's a cool new thing. Sean and the development team are working all the time. Now it's 1 o'clock in the morning in England. Hopefully they're sleeping. I mean, really, not watching us live, even though they're loyal fans of ours. I hope they're not watching now. I hope they're sleeping. And really, you're not even watching Panthers Steelers from 1 to 4 a.m. in England. But let's see.
There's got to be people who do that. There's got to be people who do that.
Oh yeah, there do have to be people who do that. And I know those guys. Sean is a fanatic, so for the NFL, so he might be watching. All right, let's go. Also, Josh's column previewing the games. He's got his fun game of the week, the game that scares him, and the game to bet your life savings on. So you're gonna want to check that out. All right, let's get to week 10. Ravens, Texans, Vikings, Broncos, all off. First game up, Lions, Bears. Bears favored by 6.5 in Chicago. Over under is 46 since we've last seen the Lions. Oh, that was before last week. They traded Golden Tate a couple weeks ago. The Lions are 3-0 against spread on the road. Right now, injury-wise, cornerback Darius Slay, guard TJ Lang did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. You're going to need to watch their situations maybe before you make a pick. For the Bears, looks like they're going to get Khalil Mack and Allen Robinson back on the field this weekend. This one to me, the Lions are one of those teams. I probably got a handful that every week I go, I don't know what to make of these guys. Every week I do. And the Lions are one of those because they started off 0-2, then they beat the Patriots, which I figured they would. And I said, oh, maybe they're an 8-8 team. And then they go lose a stupid game. So when Seattle smoked them a couple weeks ago, I've been a Bears, a sucker for the Bears. Every week I try to find reasons to pick the Bears, as I talk about with you every week. And sometimes you make fun of me for it a little bit. Deservedly so. I'm all on the Bears this week again.
One of the worst picks I've made of the season, and we talked about this last week, whether we didn't characterize it quite as that, was I thought the Lions would go ahead and beat the Vikings last week, which was in retrospect a really, really dumb pick. But sometimes you have those feelings where you're like, it makes no sense, but I think this is what's going to happen. Because I thought the Lions showed – I don't think the Lions are terrible. But now maybe I think they're not very good. And, we talked about the Golden Tate thing, and when you trade somebody like that, I don't know. That tells the team something, man. I mean, don't you think? Like, why would you I still don't understand why you trade him when you're still in the thick of it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I agree with you on that. So they traded away Golden Tate, whose contract's up at the end of the year, but they traded for Damon Harrison the week before. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Doesn't make any sense. But I think it tells the team, and I don't know, maybe I overthink this kind of stuff, but when they make moves like that, the epitome is the Raiders. So they made all their moves this year, and the Raiders are awful. And I think it affects the team because they're like, well, why the management's given up on us? Because you don't trade Golden Tate, a leader of this team, a great football player for his entire career, if you think we can win. So right. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So at this point, I've kind of written off the Lions a little bit. Bears still have a lot to play for. At Chicago, I don't know. You said that the Lions are 3-0 against the spread on the road this year. That's great. I don't think it's going to matter much this week.
So you're going to take the Bears?
No, I probably before I make these declarations, I probably should look at what I actually picked. I picked the Bears straight up. I go with the Lions I had it at 6.5.
Yeah, you got it at 6.5, right?
I don't think the Bears. Yeah, I don't think the Bears are. I don't think the Bears are so much better than the Lions. So I guess that's why I think it's a little much to give them about a touchdown.
Right.
But if you're talking straight up, I don't like the Lions here. I don't much like the Bears either, as we've talked about all year. But so I guess they're gonna win, but I don't think they're gonna cover.
Okay. Right now we've got on Pickwatch 54% of the experts are going with the Bears against the spread. By the way, 61% Panthers. Like I said, they were a little trendy. Oh, there's Troy Aikman's jacket again. If you're watching live, please check it out right now. You have to. It's actually kind of cool. I'm not making fun. He's more stylish than I am. So
their jackets complement each other pretty well, actually.
Yeah,
I kind of like that. Like they're almost kind of like matching in a way.
Yeah, they're doing all right. All right, enough sartorial advice. Let's go to the rest of the picks here.
Especially with what we're wearing, man. Especially what I'm wearing.
Saints, Bengals. Saints favored by 5.5 at Cincinnati, over under 54. It started lower. It started 4.5. It's gone up over the course of the week. Big news for the Bengals. They're not going to have AJ Green. Hurt his foot. We're not sure when he's going to be back. They said no surgery, but it could be a couple of weeks. On the Saints side, there is a slim chance that Des Bryant plays this week. Cam Meredith got put on IR. I don't think Des practiced today. I think there was a picture of him on the bike on the side. But then Sean Payton said, it's possible. I mean, I don't know if he'd win any, he'd run 10 routes, whatever. I don't think Des is a big impact. He might get some red zone targets and jump balls and stuff. But he's not that good anymore. So it's not like, ooh, they got Des Bryant. It's, all right. Fine.
Well, I'm interested. I mean, it's week 10, and he's finally getting his opportunity. So I still think he's got some skills and some talent.
You do?
I think, yeah, I do. And I think, hey, he's not going to be is he going to be like a star again? No, I don't think so. But I don't know. I like the move because it shows the team that they know they have a chance to win a Super Bowl this year. There's no question about it, right?
Yeah.
They have Michael Thomas, one of the best receivers in the game. They've got Kamara, who can catch the ball in the backfield. That's great. But they don't really have a whole lot of other like wide receiver targets. Now, I'm not saying Des Bryant's going to be a guy who comes out and catches 50 balls in the last 6 weeks of the season, but he can come out, score 30, come out and catch 30, 35 passes, score 4 or 5 touchdowns. That's big. I think he can do that. I think just adding another weapon for Drew Brees, I like that move. I don't know. I like it.
I mean, I think it's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a low risk. I don't mind it. I just don't think this. I mean, they signed an aging Des Bryant who can't get open much anymore. I mean, I think he might be able to outjump some people in the end zone. Other than that, I don't think he's going to bring them a lot.
No, but I mean, look who else
make a
they
lot of
got.
people look good, but
besides Michael Thomas, right? Who they got? They got Ted Ginn.
I mean Traquan Smith. They like. No, I get it. I mean, there's a role for him. I agree.
Yeah,
he can help probably. All right. So this game, the AJ Green thing. I mean, that's sort of sealed. It makes the Bengals different, and we're gonna have to lean heavily on Joe Mixon. John Ross might finally play a role somehow. I'm going to go with the Saints here. I don't love the Saints. This is the type of game I would usually pick the home team. I look at the Bengals, I go, all right, they're kind of an average team, and they're getting a bunch of points at home, and I'd normally take them, but the AJ Green thing kind of pushed me over the edge. I'm going to take the Saints.
Yeah, I had the Saints straight up. I do have the Bengals at 4.5. As you saw, just when John shared that screen, the Bengals are one of my worst teams that I pick. So maybe
it says I'm right again. That's what it says.
I mean, it could be, that's for sure. But, they're coming off the bye. They had a nice game against the Buccaneers in week 8. So I think they're solid. I think they're a little better than average. They have a chance at the playoffs, I think. I think they'll give the Saints a good game at home. Like I said, I don't think they're going to win, but I think they'll make it close.
Okay. Yeah. All right. By the way, we've got a few viewers. We want to say hi to them right now. Dave Goyard just left us a comment that says, y'all don't know nothing about football, clowns. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. Hope you have a good night.
You know what? That's fine. Hey, John, is he wrong? No, I don't think he is.
I don't know. I don't want to say I don't want to give him credit and say he's right. We know something.
Oh, man.
Anyway, all right. So as far as the expert and fan picks, 63% have the Saints against the spread. Okay, that's experts. The fans, 87% Saints. You want to go be a little contrarian, Bengals might be one of your spots. Home dogs haven't been great this year, but never know. All right, next up, Falcons, Browns. Speaking of home dogs, Falcons favored by 5.5 at Cleveland, over under 50.5. Falcons have won 3 straight, playing well. I'm bullish on them in the second half of the season, especially as their defense gets healthy. The Browns, are the Browns in free fall, or is it just a couple bad games that they're going to be able to rebound from?
I mean, I think they're in free fall, but that's okay. You know what? They've won a couple games this year. Quite honestly, that's pretty good for them. They're gonna. We talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago. They're gonna have to start over again at the end in the offseason. So, I think if you're Browns, you want to make sure Baker Mayfield stays healthy, that he continues to improve, that they continue to kind of get the core for the future together and figure out where they're going. And that's okay. I think even if they go 2-13-1, you know what? I think it's fine.
Really? I
do like the fact. Yeah, I think so. Honestly, I think it's okay because it's already a lost season. It was a lost season when they decided to let Hugh Jackson return. It's a lost season that Greg Williams is the coach.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, Browns fans are pretty patient, right? I mean, they have to because they've always sucked, so they have to.
This was supposed to be progress, though.
from the perspective, like some people thought they were going to win like 5 or 6 games this year. So I guess from
I
that
did. I
perspective,
thought they were going to win 6 or 7. I really did.
Yeah. Well, so I guess from that perspective, okay. But they didn't win any games last year, so they're already they're doing pretty well for this year. I agree with you. I do like the Falcons here, and I wrote about this. This was my Bet Your Life savings game. I don't know what's the spread now. I had it at 4. Falcons
I got it.
-4.
We've got it at 5.5 right now.
Okay, I had it -4. That -4 made no sense to me. I would have thought it would have been something like Falcons -7. I really like the way they play. They've been playing, especially their offense is really pretty awesome. Like you said, the defense is improving. They're getting some guys healthy. That's a good thing. Matt Ryan's thrown for at least 300 yards in 5 of the past 6 games. I don't see how the Browns can keep up here. I think Atlanta. I wouldn't. I mean, the easy like if you're in a conference league or you're in your Bet Your Life savings league, you could go with the Chiefs over the Cardinals. That's the easiest game really to pick. But I like Atlanta here to beat Cleveland rather easily.
Remember week 1 when Matt Ryan was toast and couldn't play anymore and had a noodle arm? Remember that? After the Eagles game?
That was this year?
That was this year. It was only 2 months ago. I've got the Falcons as well. I feel like I need to see something from the Browns before I pick them again in a game like this because I picked them a lot early and it's not going well. So experts, 77%. Man, there's a lot of extremes here. A lot of people heavy on one team. We talk about on Thursdays and Sundays every week. If you're in a pool and you want to be a little different and you want to go against the grain, this might be one. Falcons, 77% of the experts like the Falcons. 86% of the fans like the Falcons given the 5.5. So that's a lot.
I mean,
a lot.
I wonder what it would have been at -4, like it originally was.
Yeah.
It's like 100% or something.
I mean, we got -4 by the way, you and me. So we got in.
What's the right line here, John? -7. I would say -7.
If it got to 6 or 7, I'd start thinking twice.
Yeah.
7, I definitely think twice. I don't like giving anyone, unless I think a team is horrendous. I don't want to give them 7 points or more at home.
I really think if it was single digits, I'd pick the Falcons. If it was -10 on the road, then I'd think twice about it. But anything under -10, I think I'd pick the Falcons.
Okay, we are underway in Pittsburgh, by the way. Steelers kicked off to the Panthers. Packers, Dolphins. Packers favored by 9.5. Over under 47.5. Only injury news: Kevin King, cornerback, not practicing for the Packers. Miami might get their defensive end Charles Harris, who's been out for I think a month or so. So they're going to have their defensive end rotation kind of getting healthier again, which is nice for them. The Packers need this. So the Dolphins have looked bad for 3 weeks running, and the Packers they desperately need this game to save their season because they are I mean, they've got too many teams in front of them that are good. We mentioned, they got 2 teams in their division that are better record than them. They got the Panthers and the Saints. I mean, their chances for a wild card are going to rapidly start slipping away if they don't win this game. But I mean, it's the Dolphins. I mean, seems like an easy one. But San Francisco seemed like an easy one at Lambeau, and they barely beat them. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, at home, I like the Packers at least straight up. What did I pick for them? What is it? 9.5? That's what I had it at.
9.5.
That seems a lot. I had it actually Dolphins. I have Dolphins at +9. So I don't think it's going to be a blowout. But you're right. I mean, the Packers had a chance last week against the Patriots. They really did. Played pretty well for a bunch of the game. They needed that win, and that was going to be hard. That was always going to be a hard one to go on the road at New England and try and pull one off there. But you're right. The Green Bay season is slipping away. They need this win because then they go on the road at Seattle. They go on the road at Minnesota. If they lose those 3 games, it'd be a 5-game losing streak, and you can kiss the season goodbye.
Right.
Yeah. But for Miami, what is Brock November. Boy,
Brock November. Yeah, I like that.
Brock November, not good. So no, I think Green Bay wins straight up. I'm a little hesitant to give them 9, but
yeah, you're taking Dolphins against the spread. I'm taking the Packers, and I have some friends that I work with who are Packers fans who are in Madison, Wisconsin, and they to a man they did first. I told you last week they detest Mike McCarthy, and the other thing is they've been telling me this is not a good team. And they're banged up, but they're just not good. In addition to not being well, I'm going, come on, they're not bad. This game could probably tell us. I mean, I think they should take care of business here for me and win by, let's say, 10 or more. I mean, I'm saying more, you're saying less, but I think they should handle it. If they don't handle the Dolphins at home, then yeah, they got big problems. So, all right. So we'll look at the Packers straight up, but we differ against the spread right now. on Pickwatch. 66% of the experts picking the Packers. 65% of fans are picking the Packers with spread. Panthers are down.
Well, it's also – I'm sorry. It's also starting to get cold in Green Bay, and I wonder what the temperature is going to be like this weekend. So now you have to factor that into it a little bit as well, especially with the team like coming from Miami.
Right. Okay. All right. Next up, Patriots-Titans. Patriots by 6.5, over under 46.5. Injury news. Gronk is still maybe he was limited in practice again. I wouldn't count on him playing until I heard from the Patriots that he was. Tennessee, Jack Conklin there, right tackle. Last I heard he was in the concussion protocol. That was earlier in the day on Thursday. We're going to have to check as the game gets closer. I'm going to do it again. I'm in. I'm going against the Patriots again. I'm taking the Titans at home. I think they're playing better. I think the last 2 weeks they've been better. I actually think they could win this one outright.
I got New England straight up and against the spread, so we disagree.
We totally disagree. So, all right.
The Titans were played well last week for sure.
I think the last two games. I think Mariota was more affected by that finger injury than we wanted to. Like we're kind of not. I don't mean you and me. I mean kind of everybody was beating him up a little bit that he wasn't playing well, and I think that finger injury got to him a little more than we thought. Even though it seemed obvious, like, hey, he can't grip the ball today. Oh, all right, well, roll him out there. And why did he play that? Well, because he couldn't grip the ball. He seems like he's better now. Last 2 games, he's played well. The defense played okay. I feel like they're getting back to that point where they might be a slightly above average team or so. And the Patriots, they're not great on the road. They haven't been. I mean, they beat they beat Jacksonville. No, they lost to Jacksonville. I don't have the games in front of me. They're 2-2, and they won a couple of close games on the road. They won against the Bears in that game, 38-31. I'd have to check with the other one. But they've just been – on the road, they haven't been dominant. Like, I feel like at least it's going to be a close game.
I can see that. But you have to remember last week the Titans looked pretty good against the Cowboys, who were not good.
Right.
So, it's easy to look at that game and be like, wow, that was really great. Mariota looked really good. The
right.
defense looked really good. Mike Vrabel's got that team going in the right direction. But they were playing the Cowboys. Yeah, I was on the road, but they were playing the Cowboys, who were just god-awful.
Right.
So I'm a little leery about that, I guess. Plus, Monday night game, they have a day less than the Patriots do. That can't be good.
Right. Okay. All right. I'm taking the Titans. Sorry. We're disagreeing again.
Okay.
What do we got here? We've got on Pickwatch, 74% of the experts are taking the Patriots, 77% of the fans taking the Patriots and giving the points. So people agree with you. Fine. You're wrong, everybody. Go Titans.
I guess
it happens. All right, Panthers got 1st and 10 on the 20 here. Can I do play-by-play? Christian McCaffrey's going in. Touchdown, Panthers.
Look at that.
Yep.
Look at that. One of the best teams in the NFC right there.
How about it? You called it a little while ago. It's going to be a shootout tonight, I think.
5 minutes in the game. Long way to go.
Jags, Colts. Colts favored by 3 in Indy. Over-under 46. Leonard Fournette back for the Jags. Marlon Mack was banged up. I think he missed practice. He was limited on Wednesday, but I think he's going to play. So I talk about the desperate teams all the time. I mean, this is it for the Jags. Man, I like the Colts. They're 3-5, and I think they're going to play better over the second half. With that said, the last 2 that they won, I mean, Raiders, Bills, whatever. But I do think they're kind of I thought at the beginning of the season they were probably a bottom 5 team, and now I think they're somewhere middle of the road. But the Jags, I mean, are we just writing off that the Jags were a little fluky last year and now they're just kind of average, or are they going to turn things around?
I don't know. I think they may have been a little fluky last year. And I kind of feel the same way about the Titans. So they're kind of in the same boat there, I think, a little bit. And I think people really kind of overestimated that defense, obviously, in Jacksonville. And I think they overestimated Blake Bortles a little bit, too, because he was actually pretty solid in the last season. And now we kind of see what he really is. So I think we kind of overrated them a little bit. This game scares the hell out of me pick because I just don't know. Both teams I think are not that great, but both could go. Both could go on streaks and win the division. They could still win the division, really, because I don't think Houston's all that good, despite their 6-game winning streak. So they're both coming off the bye, so that kind of cancels each other out. And you're right when you say that the Colts are on a 2-game winning streak, but they did against the 2 worst teams in the league. So I don't know what that really tells us either.
Right.
But like I said in the column, it's like the same feeling I had last week with I thought the Lions were going to pick the the Lions are going to beat the Vikings, which was an awful pick. I had that feeling that the Jaguars are going to come out and upset the Colts here on the road. Was it still Colts -3? Is that what it is?
Got 3. I've got 3 over under 46. But yeah, I'm with you.
So, yeah.
Jags.
And,
so we've got here on
Pick
Pickwatch experts 54% Colts, fans 60% Colts. Josh and I disagree, everybody. So take that for however you want.
They're on a 4-game losing streak, so how can you look at the Jags and say, oh, that's a team that's going to win a game? I mean,
right. All right, next up, Chiefs Cardinals. Chiefs favored by 16.5. Over under is 49.5 at Arrowhead. So Chiefs have won 1 game by more than 16. As dominant as they've been, the only game they really blew someone out was the Bengals in that 45-10 Sunday night game a few weeks ago. If the spread gets to 17, by the way, it's held steady 16.5 this week. If it gets to 17, favorites since 2000, favorites are 8-12-2 against the spread, which is not terrible. It's not good, but it's not terrible. It's not like nobody covers that kind of spread. Only big injury news we got to worry about. Sammy Watkins didn't practice Wednesday, Thursday. Doesn't look like he's going to go. And if I was the Chiefs, this would probably be a rest spot for one of my better players. He's got a foot injury. I mean, the only question here is how many points you want to give, right? We all think the Chiefs are going to win and the Chiefs are going to cruise a little bit, but 6, that's a lot of points. How many points do you have? With the Chiefs, it's different because sometimes you look at a game like this and you go, well, if the Cardinals score 10, it's going to be hard for the Chiefs to cover. Now with the Chiefs, Cardinals might have to get to 17 to make it hard for the Chiefs to cover, right?
Yeah. I went with the Cardinals here against the spread. They're coming off a bye, which it always plays a factor with me. There's no way they can win this game, right? But as far as keeping it close, coming off a bye, they're coming off a win against the 49ers, who have played, a little bit better lately. I don't know. I think 17's a lot. Or was it? I'm sorry, 16.
16.5 we've got right now.
Yeah, that's a lot. And like you said, the Chiefs don't really blow people out because that defense isn't very good. I don't know. And Byron Leftwich, as much as we were like, as a new offensive coordinator there, we were like, or at least I was like, hey, 2 years ago, the guy was an intern. Now he's running the offense. But they showed some things against the 49ers a couple weeks ago. And now you have an extra week of kind of getting that offense ready and kind of not that they're going to mold anything in like Byron Leftwich's thought process. What the Steelers are doing some good things here.
Touchdown, Juju. Hit him long.
But it's another week of kind of like him taking control of the offense. So again, like Cardinals aren't going to win this game within 16.
Right. All right.
If it was -14, it'd be different. If it was -14, I'd maybe go with the Chiefs, but 16.5 is a little much.
All right. I'm going to give the points and cross my fingers with the Chiefs and see Patrick Mahomes. I want to see how Juju got open. So Juju's running slot. Oh, the rookie corner jumped. He bit on a fake and Juju was wide open. All right. There you go. All right.
Be a shootout.
We've got on Pickwatch 60% are taking the Chiefs, giving the points. That's the experts. 66% of the fans taking the Chiefs, giving the points. So you are on an island on this one. Doesn't mean you're wrong, but you're on an island.
At some point, the Chiefs aren't going to play well. At some point this year, they're going to have a game where they just don't play that well, and maybe this is one of those games. Because
the game
they're not
they
going to
lost.
get up for the Cardinals.
The game they lost is
I think with the Chiefs.
3 points.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs, are they about to hit their bye? They may be coming up on their bye.
I don't know what week 10 is. I know week 11. No, the week 10. Next week they play the Rams on Monday night.
Okay, so they got their bye in week 12. So okay. I don't really like talking about trap games or whatever, but this is a pretty good candidate for a potential trap game.
I know what you mean. Like maybe they only win by 14 and they sleepwalk through it. That's possible because the Cardinals are that bad. Yeah. Bills, Jets. Jets by 6.5. Over-unders 36.5 because neither of these teams can score with a lick. Quarterback issues for both of them. So Sam Darnold's hurt. Josh McCown's starting for the Jets. With the Bills, so Derek Anderson's still in the concussion protocol. Josh Allen was limited in practice Wednesday or Thursday. From what I am reading, I'm not quoting anybody. As of Thursday night right now, 8:30 Eastern, I think Josh Allen starts. I don't know how much of a difference that makes. I mean, he's better than Peterman for sure. He won a big game at Minnesota and, won the game at home against the Titans. I don't know. I still like the Jets. I mean, if it's Peterman, I slam dunk like the Jets, given 6.5. But I was saying to Ryan earlier in the week, the line was 7.5 at one point, and I kind of said I was thinking about jumping on it early and taking the Bills and hoping that Allen played, but I didn't do that. I got 6.5, and just because I don't know who's going to play, and because I think Allen's a bit of a disaster in his own right sometimes, I'm going to take the Jets and give the points and think they ground and pounded at home, even though the Bills' defense is good. I think they might be at a breaking point because they've had to carry everything.
Yeah, I had the Jets straight up, and I actually had the Bills at 7.5. That's what I took it at.
Okay.
You know what? What do you think about Josh McCown? You know, he's a guy who's played. How old is McCown? He's 39.
39, I think. Yeah.
He's been playing since 2002. Since that was when you turned like 45, right, John? Something like that.
Wow! Look at that! Look at that shot you took at me.
Anywho, no, but you know, he's one of those guys who's a solid guy. You know, started 13 games last year for the Jets, won 5-8, did some decent things. You know, 18 touchdowns against 9 picks. So solid guy. I don't mind. You know, maybe at this point, it's maybe even better to have him as a starting quarterback as opposed to Darnold, just because Darnold hasn't played that well. So he may give the Jets a better chance to do well, or at least to be okay. But
tidbit about Josh McCown. Ready? The people at the Panthers said they you know, in the offseason they'll do pick up basketball and play charity events, things like that. So people at the Panthers told me that Josh McCown is the best basketball playing football player that they've had here in the whole time they've been here.
Oh, really?
He's like, I'll send you videos later of Josh McCown doing windmill reverse dunks and stuff. It's crazy.
There's something special about, like, he's never gonna go to the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's never gonna be a guy where like, oh, Josh McCown, remember that guy? That guy was awesome. Like, nobody's ever gonna say that. Like, I'm looking at his stats right now. He's had one season where he's actually had a winning record. One season he's had a winning record.
That 1 year with the Bears where he was pretty solid, right?
The Bears in 2013. And but like the fact he's 39 years old and still playing as a backup and is still started 13 games last year and didn't do awful. That's pretty awesome, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
But, you know, I don't think he's going to cover.
So. He's most likely – look, I mean, Darnold's a rookie and we're going to cut him some slack. But Josh McCown's a lot less likely to throw 3 interceptions than Darnold is. So, You know, I think and like I said, the Bills, their defense is good, but at some point they're going to break. You know, they have to every week they have to carry the load. They look across and they go, wow, our teammates only scored, 2 points again. So, Cam Newton just threw a horrendous interception. Pick 6, touchdown Steelers.
Look at that.
Cam was about to get sacked in the end zone, and he decided to fling it to the middle of the field. Not his best decision, I would say.
So Panthers are no longer one of the best teams in the NFC, I don't think.
Yeah, they stink.
We can revisit this.
Oh, me. All right. This escalated quickly, as Ron Burgundy would say. All right, so I will say to you, and I actually mentioned this with Ryan, I changed a couple of picks late in the game last week because of injury news and things. Look, we're doing this on Thursday. I'm going to reserve the right, and so is Josh, to change a pick or two here and there. You want to check it on NFLPickwatch.com, go ahead. I'm not going to do it all over the board, but there might be a couple with injury news that, and sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. I think I was 1-1 on the switches last week, but this is 7.5 with Allen starting. I still might flip a little bit if this spread doesn't change.
You know what should we do next week on Pickwatch that Sean should have done is to keep track of all of your picks that you change and see if you actually do better with it.
I agree. That's a good one. Sean's watching, by the way. So 1:30 a.m. in England.
It's late.
Yeah, go to bed, man. Really. I mean, Steelers, Panthers. I know it's a good game, but come on. Anyway, all right. Anyway, so you and I, let's see, Jets, Bills. I have the Jets. You have the Bills on Pickwatch. We are at 53% of the experts are taking the Bills with the points. 57% of the fans taking the Bills with the points. So they're on your side. Next up, Redskins, Bucks. Redskins are down 3. In addition to Chris Thompson being out again, they are down 3 starting offensive linemen. Their left tackle, Trent Williams, and both of their starting guards. This is and they got steamrolled last week by the Falcons. I think the Redskins. It was funny. After we did the show last week, you picked the Falcons, and I said I'm gonna cautiously take the Redskins, but I might flip. You should check out the YouTube video. We had a bunch of Redskins fans come into the comments telling us how stupid we are because we were underrating the Redskins, and everyone, doesn't give them enough credit. Well, they showed us.
They had no.
I mean, I think it went 4-9 last week or something, but you know,
we got that one right.
What's with this
Wait,
team
did you pick the Redskins? Did you say you changed that? Did you actually
I stuck with them. But the comments, I was like, come on, guys. It's the Redskins. Calm down. I know they're 5-2, but anyway. So what now with them? I mean, with these injuries in the offensive line, it's bad. It's really bad. And even though, I mean, thank goodness for them, they're playing against the Bucks, because if they had to have a soft landing for a patchwork offensive line, it would be the Bucks. Still, this is tough for a team that, I mean, their wide receivers are, half of them are out. So they got to run the ball to do well, but their interior line is just shot. I think this is just a bad spot. I think the Redskins might be ready to go into a tailspin, and the NFC East might get won by a team that, goes 8-8.
We talked about this last week, and I wrote about it last week in my column, was that the problem now with the Redskins is that, and we saw it last week, if they fall behind early and they play against a team who is an offensive juggernaut, maybe that's not the right word, but a good offensive team and a high-scoring team, they can't catch up. Not with Alex Smith as a quarterback. Again, I mentioned this last week. I like Alex Smith a lot. He's a good game manager, all blah, 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 all that stuff. But, man, he's not going to lead any kind of high explosive scoring team.
Right.
So what do you have here with the Bucks? A team that can score points. No matter –
Totally.
29 points against the Falcons in week 6, 26 against the Browns, 34 against the Bengals, 28 against the Panthers, 48 to open the season against New Orleans. This is a team that can score. The Redskins are going to have a hard time doing that, especially, I mean, the offensive line is just a disaster for them, but and an old running back in Adrian Peterson. I don't see how Redskins stay close in this game at all.
Right. I don't know if I'm going that far, but I think the Bucs are going to win. And I think that even though the Bucs defense is bad, I think they're going to have some trouble. I mean, I don't know what the offensive line is going to look like during the game, and if they're going to be competent or they're just going to get run over. But they're just the Redskins have had some really tough injury luck on the offense. I mean, with Paul Richardson out for the year now, and Crowder I think is still out, and Chris Thompson's out, and all those linemen are out. I mean, it's just at some point it's too much, and I think it's probably too much in this case for them. The defense is still good, but
they could still, they have to be. It's a fine line. They can't go into a tailspin because they can still win the division, right?
Right.
There's still a game up on Philly. There's still 2 games up on Dallas. They still have a lot to play for. So they're not going to – no matter what happens on Sunday, they're still going to be at least tied for first place in the division.
Right.
So there's a lot to play for. They can't go into that tailspin because they have to have the mentality like we can still win the division and make the playoffs.
Yep. All right, so we're both taking the Bucs. On Pickwatch, we have got 64% of the experts going with the Bucs, giving the 3. And the fans are split 50-50. There's some Redskins supporters in there. All right, so let's go to late games, Raiders-Chargers. Chargers favored by 9.5. Over-under is 49.5. I've seen the spread at 10. Now, I was going to ask you if you think the Raiders are quitting. Look at this. We talked about the percentages. 87% of the experts are giving the points with the Chargers, 82% of the fans. Basically, everybody has given up on the Raiders, including possibly the Raiders themselves.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about the team at this point,
That game last Thursday was horrendous. It was so bad.
Yeah, I mean, against the 49ers shouldn't be blowing anybody out, but to get destroyed like that against your crosstown, it really does feel, you hate the fans always are like, oh, the team's quitting. And that, I don't think that happens very often. I really don't. I think these guys have a lot of pride, and they're getting paid, and they need to continue to look good so they can continue to get paid. Right. But John Gruden hasn't given how could you have confidence in John Gruden at least for this season? I mean, maybe they'll draft a bunch of great players and go and have that franchise be the Raiders of the 70s or whatever. But I don't see how you look at him and be like, oh, okay, we have confidence that he's going to do anything this year. I just don't see it. And the other reason to pick
with Gruden, I mean, basically they're tanking, right? Their trade, the Khalil Mack move and Cooper, they're building for the future. And I'm with you. I don't think it happens often that players quit. And I don't want to accuse these guys on the Raiders of necessarily doing that. But if you look and you go, well, they're giving up on us. Like, I don't know what goes into an athlete's head when a team does that. Like how you got to get demoralized to a point. I know you're a professional, and ultimately you're auditioning for your next job or to keep the one you have. But if your team gives up on you, you gotta I wonder what it does to your effort level and your intensity. I wonder how much it affects you.
Think about, we're both in the journalism business, and we both, I don't know if you've been through layoffs. I certainly have been through layoffs at newspapers and that kind of stuff. And it's the same type thing. You're professional, you want to work hard, and either you get laid off or your friends get laid off, your colleagues get laid off, and you come back to work the next day and say, it's not like anybody's happy about it, but people are demoralized. That's just how human nature is. So I don't see how the Raiders couldn't feel like that. It's like a bunch of the guys just got laid off, or not exactly that, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just a bad franchise right now. I don't know. It's going to be fun though in Week 11, Raiders at Cardinals. Maybe that's my fun game of the week next week. That should be good.
It's the opposite of fun, Josh. That's what it is. All right, so you got the Chargers. I got the Chargers. Everybody on Pickwatch has the Chargers. It's the Chargers. By the way, the under, everybody. 13 of the last 19 under for the Chargers. 12 of the last 15 for Oakland. And I tend to think this could be a game like last week where the Raiders get held to 10 points or less or something like that. So under might be an interesting way to go. Okay, next up.
Maybe next week we'll talk about the Chargers. Now they're actually pretty good. Maybe we'll say that for next week, though.
All right, that sounds good. Maybe Joey Bosa will be coming back by then, which would be great for them.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Rams, 9.5 over the Seahawks, over under 50.5. The Rams, so the last 2 weeks, they got pushed to the limit at home by the Packers. They lost to the Saints. They were down 35-14. They came back and tied it, and then they lost it late. I'm not going to sit here and sound alarm bells around the Rams. I think they're still very good, but their secondary is a bit of a problem. The corners are a problem. Talib got hurt, and Marcus Peters is he's not playing well at all. Something's up. He has regressed a lot. I think the Chiefs were happy to trade him last offseason, and there's when they play teams with some good speed on the edges, good wideouts, they're going to have some issues.
I can't figure out why this line is so big. Do you know why?
Because it's the Rams and everybody loves the Rams. And to what I said a minute ago, teams with good wideouts are going to give them problems. I don't know if that's the Seahawks. So it might be a good little, not rest spot because the Seahawks are a good team, but it's not like someone's going to get in a track meet with them, most likely. But yeah, it's everybody loves the Rams.
I guess, but I don't, the Seahawks have played okay. They're unlike the Browns. A lot of people looked at the Seahawks this year and said they're going to be awful, and they've been pretty solid. When they won 2 of the last 3, and they played the Chargers.
They drove down. They were down by 2 touchdowns. They scored 1. They got the ball back quick, and they literally had a play in the end zone on the last play of the game from about from pretty close in. So.
Yeah, and Pete Carroll after the game was like, we go to the overtime, we're winning that game. So whatever, right. Take that, whatever it's worth. But I don't quite understand why the line is so big. Especially like you said, the Rams have been offensively been great the last couple of weeks, but they've had some close games, and of course last week they lose against the Saints. So
right.
I don't know. I got it at 10, so I had Seattle at plus 10. Rams obviously I think are going to go straight up, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a blowout.
All right, I got it at 9.5. But actually, did I get it 9.5? Hold on. Let's see. Or am I with you? Where'd I go? I can't find myself. There I am. 10. I got Seahawks at 10. That's fine with me. Yeah, I think it's a little big. Rams, by the way, 1-4-1 against the spread in their last 6. So, again, not alarm bells, but it's not like they're blowing everybody out all the time either. So, all right. So we both got the Seahawks against the spread and the Rams straight up. On Pickwatch, 70% of the experts are picking the Seahawks, taking the points. 64% of the fans taking the Seahawks the points. So people are in agreement with us.
You know what, John? Las Vegas has been really bad the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I got an email on Monday from a PR guy who does a lot of stuff for Bovada. I'm trying to look it up. My internet's going slow, so I don't know if I can't tell you exactly what it says. But it's something like it's the worst performance Vegas has had in like the last 23 years or something like that. So, we talk about these lines sometimes as like, I don't understand why this line is like this. And you always think, well, Vegas knows what it's talking about, right? They do. But last week they didn't. They were awful last week. So I don't know. Maybe we're right and Vegas is wrong.
Well, anytime they have, I mean, we're a small sample here, right? But let's say you've got fans here, and we've got, let me see exactly how many we have right now. So we're over 1,500 fans making picks here, and they're not all in yet. But I mean, let's say for instance, we've got 82% of fans on the Chargers, given the points. Even if they think the Chargers are going to cover, they don't want that. They want the same number on both sides. That's how they make that guarantees them money. They don't want 80% of the public betting on anyone.
Right. Exactly.
So
when you see a line like, I mean, so you line like that, you says, okay, well, if you see a line like that, then the books are hoping that, like the Seattle at +10, their books are hoping that people put their money on the Seahawks. You get that line down.
Right.
But
exactly.
That's not happening.
No. Well, actually, on that side, they got more people bet in that game. They have more people betting the Seahawks, so they're probably going to have to. It's probably going to drop, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. So they're going to have to drop because this is the email. NFL Week 9 was the worst in the sportsbook's 23-year history. This is Bovada I'm talking about. Okay. And the quote is, after a brilliant start to the season, we were humbled at Bovada with our third straight losing weekend. So these lines maybe are out of whack. I don't know.
All right.
Something to think about. When you look at, like, when I say, this line doesn't make, like, with the Falcons at -4 doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe I'm right. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think.
Okay. Steelers going in. Touchdown Steelers 20-7. James Conner.
Woo. You know, we should talk about Le'Veon Bell at some point. We don't need to do it today, but man, yeah. James Conner. I think that was a pretty bad move not to, for Le'Veon Bell not to. It
looks worse.
How much money does he cost himself?
You know, once I don't have to turn my computer upside down to read Le'Veon Bell's tweets, we can talk about him. Right. All right, next team up.
He seems pretty okay with losing $9 million or whatever this year.
Whatever, I guess. I hope his agent knows what he's doing because I think he cost himself some money. Cowboys, Eagles. Eagles favored by 7 at home, over under 43. Spread's gone up here. It was 6 in the beginning of the week. This has potential for an under. 13 of the last 17 for the Cowboys. 4 of the last 6 for the Eagles have gone under. Eagles get their first game with Golden Tate, which should help. Aguilar hasn't been strong for them, really. And, you know, the thing is, they just added to their receiving core because they have a motley crew of running backs, and they're just going to throw, I think. I mean, they're going to run some, but they're going to depend on the pass, and they're going to be fine with it. And having another weapon in the passing game, I think, is a smart move by them getting Tate. How bad are the Cowboys? I mean, they just got that. What a terrible game out of the bye for them Monday night, getting just thumped by the Texans like that. It's Titans, sorry.
Yeah. We've said it all year that it's a one-man team, and they can't keep relying on Ezekiel Elliott to just pull them out of the fire. I did like, you know what I did like about the Cowboys? That Amari Cooper did some good things. So you're looking at him and say, okay, well, maybe that's another weapon for them. That's a good thing for Dallas, I think. What's really disconcerting to me, if I'm a Dallas fan, is Jerry Jones saying this week that Dak Prescott is going to get a contract extension. How could you look at him as a quarterback and say, this is a guy we want to give tens of millions of dollars to? It doesn't make any sense to me. So if you look at, like, it doesn't matter who's coaching. It doesn't matter if Jason Garrett gets fired. It doesn't matter if Scott Linehan gets fired. It doesn't matter, man. Like, if Dak Prescott is going to be your quarterback, how are you going to win?
I don't know. I don't mind Dak. I think he's okay. I think he's an average quarterback.
He's not average when it matters. I think maybe he's okay in the second quarter with 7 minutes to go, but when it matters, he's not very good.
All right.
I mean, look, like, if you ask Dallas fans, like, I know, I'm getting off on tangents all day here. Sorry, John, but like, if you have asked a Dallas fan, like, hey, would you rather have Dak Prescott or would you rather go back to a guy like Tony Romo when he was in his prime? Is anyone going to say Dak Prescott?
No, of course not. But it's hard to find Tony Romo's.
I understand, but like, so maybe you look at Dak Prescott and say, well, this guy can be our franchise quarterback. He hasn't shown that he can be your franchise quarterback. The team is terrible. I don't think you think he's okay. I don't think he's very good. But so then how is the owner going to say, like, this guy deserves an extension. Like, I don't get it, man. I don't know.
But I mean, I guess it depends on how good you think he is, because the problem there is, so now what? If you move on, then what are you moving on to? Are you starting over? So that's the hard part. It's I mean, the Giants could move on from Eli Manning, and I know it's a different story because Eli Manning's not good right now. He's finished. It's not getting better, and he's on the bottom. He's sort of bottom quarter of the league starting quarterbacks. But yeah, you want to get rid of him, but like, hey, don't assume, next year's better because they don't have Eli. Oh yeah, right? Maybe. I mean, I don't know who's playing, because you got to get another guy.
No, I know.
At least Eli guy, but it doesn't mean the other guy's going to be good. It's hard to find a good one.
Right. But I don't think Dak Prescott is good. So
yeah, all right.
Okay. I mean, his stats are okay. His stats are okay, but I don't know, man. Every time I watch him play, he kind of stinks, I think. He does make some good throws, and he does some good things, and he's okay, but
all right.
I don't know. I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm not pleased. Anyway.
I think Zeke's going to have a tough road against that Eagles front on Sunday night. They're good. Fletcher Cox is
because there's no threat from Dak. I mean, like I said, I think Amari Cooper is going to end up being a good thing for them. But
right,
if you get blown, he didn't get blown out by the Titans, but if you get beaten up pretty good by Titans, who I don't think are very good. I know you think you think they're better than I do, but I don't know, man. And plus, again, it's those late. Was this the Monday night game or the Sunday night game from last week?
This was the Monday night game, but now it's the Sunday night game.
So again, it's the same thing. It's a day less to prepare. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's a good situation for Dallas.
All right, so we're both in on the Eagles. We've got the Eagles given points. 60% of the experts are on the Eagles given points. 80% of the fans. 80. That's a big number. That's a lot. Christian McCaffrey, go Christian McCaffrey. Cam got sacked on first down. McCaffrey just gained about 13 or so on second.
We're 12 minutes into this game. There's already 28 points.
Yeah, I know.
This is the kind of stuff that Thursday night games always should be like.
Did you see Cam's interception? Did you see the throw?
Yeah, but he was going to take a sack in the end zone, so he had to do something.
I know, but that was right in the minute. Basically, the decision was, let me throw it where the most people are and see what happens. All right. I mean, I don't want to beat up on Cam. I like him, but that was a terrible decision. He'll admit it later, I'm sure. Monday night, Giants-Niners. Niners favored by 3 right now. Let's see. 43.5 is the over-under. We're getting Nick Mullins again for the Niners. The Giants, so they're bad, but they've lost some close games. I can see, and part of it's because I've told you, I grew up a Giants fan, and when it's your team, you get so frustrated when they play bad. You're like, they can't beat anybody. They stink. They're the worst team ever. I can't stand them. I don't know who why could they beat the Niners? Well, they can. The Niners aren't good.
Yeah.
And if you have Saquon, you're a boxing guy. Yes, Saquon and Odell Beckham, you got a puncher's chance, right?
Yeah, because you're right. The 49ers aren't very good. I'm looking at this. How do historical? Maybe you know this better than I do. How are the Giants going to the West Coast?
I don't know.
Okay, you keep. I'm gonna look up and see.
Yeah.
So they're off the bye, but again, like that kind of stuff to me matters. Like,
yep.
They have to go all the way across the country. And I don't know. 49ers are coming off a win, right? So. And
the 49ers, didn't they have a bunch of sacks against the Raiders? Was it 8? Am I thinking of the right game? But they have a talented front four. I think they have 3 first-round picks on the defensive line, and the Giants' offensive line is terrible. They can't protect them. I mean, there could be sort of a bad match for the Giants up front here.
This just is not a good Monday. It's not a good Monday night game.
Right.
I don't know.
I think where I'm coming from on this too. I mean, that Nick Mullins thing last week, nice story. Mm-hmm. And his coach is a good play caller, but I'm not coming out here expecting Nick Mullins to move the ball up and down the field on the Giants. He was a 3rd string quarterback for a reason.
Yeah.
And the guy could have a bad game and self-destruct. It wouldn't be a shock. If it happens, you'll go, well, okay. I mean, that was certainly a decent probability.
I'm looking at the the Giants' all-time record in San Francisco, and it's not bad. I think
Okay.
they're 2-2 in their last 4 games. So okay, so that's not really that may not be an issue at all. But yeah, you can't expect Mullins to come out and perform like he did in his debut. But I don't like the Giants. I don't think they're good. San Francisco at home. It's hard for me to look at this game and think the Giants are gonna cover or be anywhere close. I mean, it's only it's 3 -3 for
It's
San
3,
Francisco.
yes.
So it's basically a toss up.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't see how. I don't see really. Like you said, they have a puncher's chance, but Eli has been so bad this year. I just don't see it.
All right, I'm going to take him. I'm going to bet against Nick Mullins and see how it goes.
Who do you have straight up?
Giants.
You have the Giants straight up. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not super confident in it, but it's possible. So anyway, all right. Yeah, I'm going that way. On Pickwatch right now, we've got 60% of the experts are with the Niners. 72% of fans are with the Niners. So again, to repeat, the overwhelming favorites for the fans with the spread: 87% Saints, 86% Falcons, 82% Chargers. The toss-ups are Bucks are 50%. Bucks Redskins is right down the middle. On the expert side of things, 87% Chargers. Man, that's so shocking to me that we all year when getting we have like 2 or 3 games a week, maybe 2 games a week that get into the 70s, and we got one that's 87% experts, 87% Chargers. Wow. And 77% Falcons.
It's a pretty good size spread on that one too. So it's not like it's a Chargers are -5 against Oakland.
So remember I mentioned the contrarian thing earlier. Look, I'm not telling anybody to be contrarian and take the Raiders. That's for sure. The Browns are an interesting one. If you want to gain some ground on people, that might be it's a home dog. I know it's risky because they're not playing well, but that might be a way to go. If you're in a season long.
That's my lock. That's my lock of the week. That's my bet your life savings game. So
right.
I agree with you there. But
all right. What else you got going on? You're going back to your alma mater this weekend.
Going back to University of Georgia, meeting a bunch of my college buddies. We're gonna do it up good. Watch some college football. I haven't been to a University of Georgia football game that I didn't cover because I covered it the last couple of years in college since I was a sophomore. So that was like 1999, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a long time since I've been in Sanford Stadium as a fan.
Who were they playing this weekend?
Auburn, the oldest rivalry. Is it the oldest rivalry in the country? It might be the oldest rivalry in the country. It's one of the oldest rivalries in the country.
Can they beat Alabama in the SEC championship game?
Probably not.
Okay. Well, this was supposed to be rebuilding year for Georgia, right? A little bit.
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, I think to a degree. I think I think Alabama's always going to be. I mean, Alabama's the king, right? So, and Kirby. I think it's always going to be tough for a guy like Kirby Smart to beat his mentor, I guess.
Right. You got to love Kirby, though.
I covered Kirby was a senior when I was a freshman, so I covered some games that he actually played in at Georgia. Okay. You know what though? It's I loved Mark Richt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really a Georgia fan. I mean, I'm not really a fan of anything. Just that I lost that fan gene a long time ago, so I don't really care that much. But I liked Mark Richt because he was a guy. They won a couple of SEC championships with him. They were never going to win a national championship with him, but he represented the program in the right way. I think he was a classy guy. Like, I was proud to have him coach my alma mater. I'm not necessarily proud to have Kirby Smart coach my alma mater. He doesn't like the media, which to me is, I'm biased, but he doesn't deal with the media well. I just don't like that. So that makes me the minority, the vast minority of Georgia fans. But
right.
He's a good coach, no doubt about it. They're a good coach and they're a good team. So, I mean, if they win a national championship, hey, that's great. But I like Mark Richt,
Okay, fair enough. All right, well, have fun.
I will.
All right, everybody. Hit us on Twitter again. He is at Josh Katzowitz. He can't wait to be hanging out with his buddies in Athens and answer your Twitter questions about the NFL games. So at Josh Katzowitz on Twitter. I'm at Halpin37. And our main account is at Pickwatch. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, like us on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, follow us on YouTube. You can, this discussion that we just had, we'll chop it up into individual game clips. So if you just want to watch us talk about, let's say, Seahawks Rams, you can do that. And people have been doing that all year long. We appreciate everybody who's been watching. That's it. I'll be back here at 11:45 a.m. Eastern on Sunday with the inactives, late news, all that stuff. Thank you for watching Pickwatch Live. For Josh Katzowitz, I'm John Halpin. See you next time, and good luck in Week 10.